Well, welcome back, Pipers. Welcome back, YouTube, Rumble. This is the Bass Piper channel. And guys, I just want to get on here a quick second. Can you believe this? This is the third video in 24 hours. Wow. What's up with Bass Piper, huh? But I'm sitting here waiting on some more rain to come in here to Virginia. Everything is clouding up out there, and we're getting some more rain today, so I'm just chillaxing here for a second in the garage and having me today a Tabak Especial. Tabak Especial by Drew Estates. It's in a Robusto or a Robusto, however you want to call it. It is a flavored cigar, has a sweet tip, and of course this one has a very good taste for flavor. There's not many flavored ones that I care for. I like more the natural cigars, and kind of like we like those English and bulk and blend pipe tobaccos, right? Not so much the aromatics, but I can do more of the aromatic in the pipe than I can, I'm finding out, than I do really in the cigar. But this one here, the Tabak Especial, they've got about, I think they've got one in the Maduro. This is the Connecticut. They got one in the Maduro, and they got one in a, I want to say more of a barber pole. This one gives you more espresso, coffee nuances. But it has a sweet tip. And if you don't like sweet tips, what I found out is just moisten a little bit of your fingers with some water or whatever, and just rub it on the cap. Or either get you like a wet paper towel, just squish it out, and just roll it really easy, and to take that sugar off of it, and it takes most of it out. I can live with it or without it. It really doesn't curl my toes whether it's on there or not. But the cigar in itself is very good. Another one to try if you want to try a flavored cigar. But anyway, I just want to get on here real quick. I have been updating you guys. I've been talking a little bit about the Richmond Pipe Show, and I got with my contact last night. I believe he's either the president or the vice president of the Pipe Club out there in Richmond. And we had a good little talk for about 5 or 10 minutes, and he was filling me in on what's going on. And Steve, I want to make a correction. Steve and Miss Kathy were not at the Ohio Pipe Show. They were at a smaller pipe show in Arkansas. And Steve, I saw that several videos back, and I'm getting older. I forgot. My protein shake, my lunch for today. I forgot that you guys were not going to the Ohio show, so I apologize for that, putting out that mistruth. But I'm glad you got the Cafe cigars, no matter where you got them at. But anyway, if you like, Steve, if you haven't tried a flavored or want to try a flavor, try one of these. They're around $10, $11, I think, for some of these. But Drew Estates probably makes, if you want to look at a flavored, Drew Estates makes probably the best flavored ones out there. I mean, they have the acid line and all of that kind of stuff, but I'm not into all that. But anyway, this one here is pretty good. Back to the pipe show. We will not have a pipe show this year. According to my sources, we will definitely, unless the Lord comes back, they're going to have one next year, September 27th and the 28th. What has happened is this, guys. Here's the scoop on the poop. Evidently, the last couple of years, last year when they acquired the new tractor museum slash venue, whatever it is out there, they they are running into communication problems. Okay, and all of the promoters and things for the cigar pipe, I mean the pipe shows, getting my cigars and my pipe events all jacked up here. But all the promoters for the pipe shows, okay, they're not playing well with each other, for lack of better words. Mainly the one in Vegas. I told him when he told me that, I said, "Yep, I can relate to that." When we used to sing in Southern Gospel in our Southern Gospel Quartet for 13 years. What's happening is that the promoters and the ones that are putting on these shows, they're not sitting down and talking with the other promoters. And what's happening is everybody is stacking their event on top of each other. And what's happening is that the big boy vendors and stuff evidently are not taking the time, or they don't want the quick turnaround time. What's been happening is evidently is Las Vegas has been popping their show within about 2 or 3 weeks. I think last year, before the Richmond show. I think this was last year. And so the vendors wasn't signing up because they wasn't going to turn right back around and go back to Richmond within about 2 weeks. And there's something that got jacked up this year. I don't know if it's because I told him, I said, well, it seems like the Ohio Pipe Show is doing the same thing, because he just had the Ohio Pipe Show, and then here 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now, we would have had the Richmond show. So to make a long story short, guys, there needs to be better communication. Imagine that. The big boys out there, the Chicago show is usually, about the same time every year. Certain ones are about the same time every year. And depending on what area some of the pipe shows are in, you have to be careful with when they have the show. You don't want it in the dead winter with some places, because you won't get nobody to come hardly, even if the vendors do show up. So I said, well, I can relate to that. We used to go through the same thing with Southern Gospel music. And just here in the Tidewater area, we'd have maybe 4 or 5 promoters. And they'd be bringing groups in, or they'd be bringing some of the big name commercial groups in, like the Bill Gaither groups, and the big, if you're in Southern Gospel music, you'll know who these groups are, like the Hoppers and Gold City and Ivan Parker and all these kinds of people come in. Guys, I'm going to move my stand because it looks like my focus keeps going in and out, and with this white shirt and white beard, I'm whiting out all over the place. So what we got going on or what we had going on even with that, is that, I'm going to move you down just a hair, is that we'd be set up for a concert at a church one night, and it's the same night that they got 3 other concerts going on in the area, or they bring in a big name and everybody's flooding over in that direction. And let's just say we have our quartet and another quartet at 2 different locations in the church. One's in one city, one's in the other. But instead of having 200 people at your concert, you got 50. And they got about 50. And the rest of them are over there to see the big name group or whatever. So, with a lot of us groups that were working on love offerings, we didn't get much because everything was split up. And it was because the promoters were not talking to each other. They were all doing their own thing, booking everybody under the sun all on the same night. So you had four different venues going on. You didn't know which one to go to. So this is kind of like what's happening with our pipe community, it seems, or with our pipe shows. And that is that the right hand ain't talking to the left hand, and it's causing some problems. So I said, well, what do we do next year if you still have this kind of problem? I take it there's going to be some people in charge raising Cain with the other people that are in charge to say, hey, look, let's be fair across the board here, man. Let's space this stuff out because the vendors are not turning around like they normally would do. I guess they're not spaced out enough. I don't know all the innards of this. I'm just going by what a little bit reading through the grapevine that I'm told. So he said, but because it's our 40th anniversary of the Pipe Club, the Richmond was a Conclave something Pipe Club. It's our 40th anniversary. Basically, they're having it come hell or high water. No matter who shows up, what shows up, they're going to have it. So that's the scoop on the poop. We will be having it next year. And hopefully we will have an abundance of vendors there. And hopefully you can get these promoters to sit down and just get a calendar out and say, okay, let's work this out, guys. Ohio, when are you having yours? Vegas, when are you having yours? Okay, Chicago's the big boy. That's usually etched in stone, whatever. Richmond, you can have, Richmond's going to have it this date. We used to have the one down in Raleigh, the Triangle something Pipe Club or whatever it was called down there near Raleigh. I think they've dissolved now. But we got to sit down. You got to sit down, especially with the bigger ones, and just work it out. It's not rocket science, but everybody wants to do their own thing, and that's. So when you are looking at wanting to plan your show, I don't understand why I've only got 10 vendors and the other guy had 600. Well, evidently it's not giving the folks enough time, or they're not taking the time, because you got to figure too, some of these guys may have to go back home and make more pipes. Well, they may have to get inventory in or whatever. They sell out of something. So they may have to restock, so they don't have time to really do all that, so they don't bother with it. And let's face it, it's like anything else. If you go to a few shows, let's just pick on Richmond, and you're a vendor, and you go out there, but it's not much traffic, or you see there's not many vendors. How long would you go out there as a vendor? So they're hoping to get all of that fixed. So mark your calendar, guys, or your iPhone calendar, to remind you of September 27th and 28th, Friday and Saturday of next year of 24. We will be, according to what I'm hearing, the Richmond show no matter what. So unless something drastically is out of their control happens, but everything's a go for next year. So anyway, just want to get on there and share it. I told you I'd update you the best I can. And if anything changes, I'll let you know. Or if you hear of anything, let Bass Piper know. Because really, that's our big one around here. The Tidewater area, we just don't have a lot. We don't even have a lot of brick and mortars, guys. I mean, you would think Tidewater, we I'm living in an area of Hampton, Newport News, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, bigger cities. Norfolk and Virginia Beach, normally people know of that, especially being all a big military area. Well, there went my cigar. I was getting ready to ash it, and it fell out of my hand. I was switching hands, and it fell right out of my hand. And I'm not going back and redoing this. So anyway, that's what it looks like. But I had a good stack of diamonds going. Um, but we just don't have the areas in our area. I mean, we just don't have the venues in our areas. We've got a couple of cigar shops, Emerson's. We've got Willie's, and then in Williamsburg we've got Havana Connections. But as far as pipe stores, I mean, we're saturated with all of these vape stores and cigarette stores and what do you call them things? Hookahs or bukas or whatever you call them things. But they have, they have all of that garbage out there. But there's no really bona fide. I tell you, when back in the 90s, when we lost the Tinderbox, that was our big boy. It was a small store, but it was a big boy for us out here, especially if you were a piper and a cigar smoker. They had a humidor and everything in there. But we've got a couple of cigar. I mean, over in Norfolk and Virginia Beach, you got a couple of cigar places, and the Emersons and different ones out there. And once a year, they'll hold in Norfolk, like they're getting ready to do here in September. They'll hold a cigar fest at a beer. I guess what you call like a microbrewery type of store or restaurant, a pub or whatever, and they put on an outside event. But it's like $175 a person to get in. And, where a pipe show is what? It's either free or sometimes it's $5 or $10 to get in per person. So, anyway, that's the scoop. And I wish we had more in this area. So the Richmond show, the pipe show, is the only thing that I have to go to. And so Miss Bass Piper, she comes with me to the pipe show. And I trade off and go with her to the Bodacious Bazaar in November. And that's all the Christmas stuff, and it's all geared around mostly household stuff and women's stuff, and they'll have a variety of stuff. But so she muddles through my pipe show as I muddle through the Bodacious Bazaar. But anyway, that's what we got, and we're hoping that everything will roll as planned for next year for the pipe show. So we've been down for 2 years now, 22 and 23. So hopefully we'll get it all going again in 24. We just got to pray that they don't lose the venue. And before we even get started to see what the venue looks like. But anyway, so that's going to wrap it up for me. My sister is in surgery today, and I appreciate the comments that I've got for y'all's prayers. I was planning on being there. Her husband and daughter is there with her at the hospital. But our hospital that she is at, the one that is over in Newport News, it is a train wreck and a nightmare to try to find parking, especially in the daytime because of all the day shift. It is unbelievable. They are building more buildings without putting the parking lots in there. And you can ride around for 30, 45 minutes trying to find something, if you can find it. And you're back out there in the back 40 somewhere, if you're lucky. So I just, I shared with her that I'll be in contact by phone here. Of course, if anything happens or an emergency, I'll try to figure out a way to get up there, and if I got to park in front of the front door. But it's just a train wreck at this place. Uh, they're supposed to be tearing down a building to make more parking garages and stuff, but it is an ever-loving nightmare. So anyway, they're keeping us posted on what's going on. She's in surgery now. She went in at 11:30. It's a 4-hour surgery, so hopefully she'll be out by 3:30. And but just keep praying, guys, if you would. And we're going to be praying that everything works out well. And so, anyway, with that, I'm going to get off of here. You guys have a good rest of the day. I don't know if I'll be back on the rest of the week or not. But until we meet again, man, relax and have your pipe. Or try one of these Tabaks by Drew Estate. We'll try to turn it around without dropping it. There we go. And my camera found this phone don't zoom in like sometimes I want it to. But anyway. And we will talk with you guys later. Remember, God's good. And be thankful for all the blessings he gives us each and every day. We'll talk with y'all later. Bye-bye.